There we go. Now it says we're recording this friggin' thing. I'm here with Keith Shaw. Welcome, sir. How you doing?
Doing great, Joe.
Good.
Doing
Thanks for
great.
being
Just
here.
trying to stay warm.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm in Canada. I know all about that.
I,
Warm today, but it
I
was
know.
not
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Me complaining about trying to stay warm to you is like, it's like
I'd
preaching
laugh.
to somebody who already knows that they're cold.
That's right. I laugh
Yeah.
at you guys when you say, "Oh, I don't know the conversions. 20 Fahrenheit is like tropical to me in winter." It's like that's awesome. That's
Oh
shorts
yeah.
weather. That's short sleeve weather. We had the other day. We were sitting at minus 40 Celsius, so that's cold. And then
Yeah.
wind on top of that. It gets
Yeah. I've been
chilly.
up around. Yeah, I've been up around your way this time of year. It does get pretty
Is that
pretty
Ontario?
bad. So
Yeah, it gets
yeah,
cold.
get up. I'll get up and actually up around your area because you're in
Oh, Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been up in that area before,
Oh, good for
and
you.
this time
God
of
bless you.
year
Jesus.
it gets a little tough.
It
You know?
hurts. It hurts a lot. Yeah. But we're here. That's fine.
Yep.
That is a nice setup you got there. I love the Shure mic. Look at you. That's beautiful. Use that to record your
Oh,
vocals.
this is this is part recording studio, part live stream room,
Nice.
part practice room. It's I mean, there's fortunately I've got the visual kind of focused on the less cluttered area. But if you go to one side, there's a whole bunch of recording stuff. You go to the other side, it's a bunch of instruments, and you got to kind of. It's like I built like a little fort around me of
Yes.
all of this stuff. So
I love it. That's awesome.
yeah, so I'm kind of in the middle of all this, and then if I'm lucky, oh, there he is. If I'm lucky, my cat won't start.
You have a cat. Okay.
Vi-
Well, this is
vi-
less awkward for
vying,
me then. Because my cat
vying for my attention.
Yeah. I've got a cat here that specifically waits until I start talking, and I have to do one of these.
Yeah, I hear you.
There you go. There we go. Now he'll be fine for 10 minutes and he'll have to leave. Jesus. That's a 12-string guitar there, 12-string electric.
Yeah, it's an Ibanez 12-string. I like every musician, you have multiple instruments. So that's my go-to 12-string. I Strat and a Les Paul and a Telecaster and various acoustic guitars and so forth. Bass guitar. Actually, my bass. I just have the one bass because that's the bass that I love. A Fender black-faced, P bass. To me, that's the bass. So
That's the bass.
I can't go and buy 10. Yeah, I can't buy 10 basses because I just like that. It just works for me. But guitars, depends on what sound I'm trying to get out of it. So,
right.
One, Les Paul seems better when I'm doing slide work. The Strat seems better when I'm doing, other kind of stuff, solos and whatever. Same with acoustics. Sometimes I use the PRS, sometimes the Ovation. Just switch back and forth depending on what I'm trying to accomplish.
Whatever you feel like. Awesome, man. So on the EP that you just put out here in 2020, is that just you doing everything, or did you have?
Yep, that's me. No, that's me. That's me. Me and
Jesus.
and what happens is when I write the songs, and I just went through a big actually right when I finished that, I said, hey, I'm kind of on a roll. So I finished that album. So while I'm still kind of in the mode before I talk myself out of it or I get lazy or whatever, let's just keep writing. Just write. And some of it turns out to be, you kind of get stuck and it doesn't go anywhere. And some of it just kind of flows. So I've already written 8 more songs since then. So from the which I'm trying to work out bugs before I spend time recording that for an album. Hopefully I'll get done this year with 8 songs. But that's kind of how I started, and some people like to write with pen and paper, and sometimes I do that, but usually I like to write more on the computer, because that way, if like I mess up, I can just erase it and start over. It's easier instead of going through, a trash can full of paper or wads or whatever.
Yeah.
So I start with that, and then like today, I was working out three of the songs that I hope to put on the album for this year, and working out stuff with that timing and whatever, and and the vocals and the inflection and all that, and then I just keep building from there. So I usually start off with the drums, and then I lay down the rhythm guitar part, and then I lay in the bass, and then I just keep building from there. And then the last
Right.
thing I do is any kind of vocals or any kind of what I call like the little frill things, like any
Right.
kind of hand percussion or whatever,
Right.
you know. And then I usually do any keyboards I do all at once, because that way, once I set up the keyboard set up, then I can just keep doing it. Like guitars are easy to set up and break down. That's
Right.
easy. But once I set up the keyboard, I just kind of save all the key stuff, and then that way I can kind of feed one off the other. But that's kind of how I do it.
That's awesome.
But it just probably about 3 years ago, I just kind of said, I'm kind of tired of, well, because here's what happened was I had a bunch of songs that I wrote, started playing them with other people, and then they go, well, we don't like that song, we want to change it around. And I'm going, well, wait a minute, that's my
It's
song.
my song. Yeah.
That's right, I wrote that song. And I wrote the music for it and whatever, and I just like you to play it, because I wouldn't get the same courtesy in return. So if they had songs, I had to play it exactly like how they wanted it. So I just kind of said, I'm just going to record my own stuff.
Mhm.
And if I needed if I felt there should be something in there like keyboards, I would just keep playing the keyboards until I got what I wanted. So sometimes I'm just teaching myself that part. Like I get it in my head and I keep playing it till I get what I want out of it. So it's not like I just walk up and start playing like a, big, whatever, big piano concerto or whatever. So it's just like I'll pick up the instrument. I know where all the notes are. I'll just keep playing it till I get what I want out of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I build all of my songs, and then that way I can get creative. So if I want to put a 12 string on it, like one of the songs on the album has 12 string on it, I put the 12 string on it. If I just want acoustic and then it's like a rhythm piece and put the electric over it, it's just I can build it up however I want to. But that's kind of how I do. I just like keep building it. Once I get that drum foundation, then I just keep building it up, building it up, building it up, and then add whatever parts on at the end, because like some parts, like silly things like, maracas or tambourine or,
Right.
claves or whatever, because you want like a kind of want the sound of a nice consistent rhythm thing, but you don't want to have a click track, obviously. But it's, it
That's
kind
right.
of like enhances what you've already accomplished in the drum rhythm. So that's kind of what I do, and it's just for me, it's just a great feeling of accomplishment. So when I get done, I can go, geez, look what I created out of, some random thought I had in my head, or some bunch of stuff I might have scribbled down on the notepad in my phone or whatever like that. Cause, that's kind of like where I get it. So when I'm writing, who knows what the heck comes out sometimes.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, I listened to your EP before I popped on here. You sent my co-host Sarah a couple tunes.
Right.
I saw her face and a little pretty thing, I believe it was. Those are fantastic. But I like the whole feel of this album. You got 6 great songs here. I'm just curious for people that may not know, like who were your influences when you wanted to start playing music?
Well, I just started playing like a lot, you get I have a lot of friends who, I was like 7 years old and I got a guitar and I learned, I started to learn how to play. I didn't learn how to play. They started to learn how to play.
Mhm.
Because to me, any instrument is like you never learn how to play it. You
Right.
keep learning how to play it,
Hmm.
because you can always figure out something a little bit different,
Hmm.
especially with a guitar, because it's 6 strings, but you can do a ton of things with those 6 strings with capos and open tunings and slide and this thing, whatever.
Hmm.
But I didn't start playing guitar until like in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I was a lot older than the average person who takes up music.
Mhm.
And then I played seriously for about 10 years. And then because I had a thing in my life that changed a lot of things I did, not a bad thing, it was a good thing because I wanted to have own a business and stuff like that. So I stopped playing for almost 9 years. And then 7 years, actually 7 years this month, I started playing again and I got serious again all over. So that's kind of, kind of my history of music. It was, I mean, I know a lot of people start music and they stop and they start and they stop and they start and they stop, but that's kind of what happened. I got this big chunk at the beginning and then took a break and whatever. So back to your original question, the things that influenced me were actually a lot of like prog rock at first because I like kind of like that heavy guitar sound and stuff like that. But then all of these other things started to creep in when I started writing more and more, and kind of went back to the music of when I was growing up and like in my teens and 20s and stuff like that. And I started thinking of like and I always say this. I did a live stream on Saturday for a charity,
Okay.
and when I um, talk about I did probably 14 songs, and only 4 of them were covers.
Oh, nice.
And the covers that I did were, one was by somebody who's influenced me a lot as a songwriter, Tom Petty,
Okay.
because I just think he's an awesome songwriter, and he got a lot of his craft from Bob Dylan, which I think is another great songwriter. And then um, in the more modern, um, more like relevant times, I should say, guys like Bono from U2 and stuff, I think are great songwriters too. Like a lot of their stuff, the pop stuff, um, like I Will Follow and stuff, you might not think has a lot of meat to it, but you think of songs like Pride in the Name of Love and Peace on Earth and whatever that are based on real life occurrences
Right.
in in people's lives and stuff. Matter of fact, I did Peace on Earth on Saturday in my live stream,
Nice.
and those are people that influence me and people that I listen to a lot now. But also too, there was a movie that came out a few years ago. It was called Echo in the Canyon. Bob Dylan's son Jacob Dylan had produced this song, produced this movie. I'm sorry, and what they did was they had a large concert they did of all of these people that influenced them. So a lot of the people in there, like with Tom Petty's in the movie in a speaking role, for influences and stuff, and David Crosby and so forth. But a lot of that um, from that era, the Echo in the Canyon, Laurel Canyon, so like the Birds and the Eagles and stuff has kind of permeated its way into the way that I think when I write songs and when I execute those songs. So to make a long answer to your question, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. And you said, before, obviously, you were writing songs, sending them to people, hopefully get them to play with you. Then they would try to change your stuff around. You obviously prefer doing the one man band thing because now you don't got to listen to nobody else's bullshit. But
Yeah, I mean, I, I like doing that because to me and and it's like a lot of people we all get these things through social media, what do you want to do with your music? I can make your music this, I can make your music that, I can get you more plays and this
they
thing and
can't do
that thing and
shit.
whatever.
They
And I'm
can't do
going like,
nothing for
well,
you.
yeah, but even if they could, I'm not walking around all starry eyed. I just want to make music
Yeah.
and I, it's kind of funny because our buddy Ollie at
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Radio
yeah, yeah, yeah.
TFSC, because I think Ollie too. He
Yeah, I
put
love
some
all that.
question on social media the other day, about 3 or 5 days ago, and said, you know, out of the songs that you've written or recorded or whatever, I'm paraphrasing, is there any of those songs that you really don't like? And I responded back to him. I said, I have one song that I don't like. I said, because when I do the songs myself, I can get real experimental. Now, putting a 12-string guitar in maybe isn't very experimental, but to me, it's an experiment. Like I try it, if it works, I put it in. That, it's an experiment. But there was one song that I did about 3 years ago that I recorded, and when I played it live, like in a acoustic folk whatever setting, people really loved it. So I said, geez, I should record this song. But for whatever reason, I got too experimental, and I got kind of influenced by another song that was in 12/8 time. And I said, there's one song I have, Ollie. I said, it's in 12/8 time, and I'll never do that again. Because I kind of got, going back to you too, on the Joshua Tree album, there's a song called Tripping Through Your Wires that's in 12/8 time. And I said, oh, that's pretty cool. That's like a neat idea, to take a song and make a rock song in 12/8 idea. So I did this song the same way, and it just didn't turn out the way that I really liked it. I'm not going to go back 3 years later and re-record it, but it was a learning experience. And, that's all I hope to accomplish, is just have something that, people play, and some people like it and some people hate it, and some people go, it's just a song.
Yeah.
That's all I want to get out of it,
Yeah. That's, and that's it. You don't have, it doesn't have to be anything. As long as you like what you're doing,
Yeah.
that's what matters in the end, I think. People can promise you all the riches in the world for their dime a dozen promo ads and shit like that. Like, I'm sure your inbox is blowing up all the time with shit like that. Just send me fucking $50 and I'll put you on the Spotify list, or I'll get you another 40,000 followers and blah blah blah. It's like, but what good does that do?
Yeah. Well, the one thing I've learned about being I call myself an indie musician. I mean, we all kind of do, and one of the best things I ever did for promoting my music or whatever was just getting in contact with people like yourselves, or the different types, because there's like so many quality indie radio stations. They're looking for good, well-produced content.
Yeah.
And we've just named one of them. There's a lot of them, so I don't want to pit one against the other, but I mean, there's so many good places who are willing to at least give it a listen, and that's all I ask. Please give it a listen. If you like it, please, you're welcome to play it. If you don't, then I'm not, no harm, no foul. I'll be hitting you up in 6 months with another
something else. Yeah,
song.
Try this one.
I'll be hitting you up with another song. But the thing is my rule of being an indie musician is never pay for any of that stuff, because first off, we don't got no money.
Exactly. God
right?
damn it.
So that's another reason. That's another reason, and I'm pointing over here because this is kind of like where my part of my setup is you invest money in your gear and your recording equipment and microphones and whatever webcams.
Well, those fucking, that mic you got there is not a cheap piece of fucking tech, I'll tell you that. Yeah,
I struggled with this for a while, because I have a couple other mics that seem to work well, and this, for the past year and a half, about a year and a half, it's been my go-to mic. I mean, it's great for this. It's great for singing. I like it because it can keep my voice under control, because I have some mics because I just kind of blow the mic off the stand, kind of a thing, because of the way that I sing once I get nice and relaxed. But after you get all that stuff in, I know people, and they're indie musicians, that paid, I don't know. I asked the guy once, and he did a very nice album. It was good. It was, I think it had 10 songs on it. And I think he said he ended up paying 10 grand in studio. And this is like 5 years ago, 10 grand in studio time, right? So you're taking 10 grand out of your pocket for studio time. Yeah. And he was paying some other local musicians to play on this thing. And I'm thinking, geez, if I'm doing this all myself, all I'm doing is my sweat and frustration and whatever, doing it, once, but that, you buy additional things like, 3 or 4 different sets of studio monitors or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the thing is I'm going to continually use those. So my rule of being an indie musician is put all your money into your gear, try to do as much as you can on your own, because just like for me, just like any instrument is a continual learning experience, doing production and mixing and mastering and sending CDs out to be reproduced and whatever is a constant learning thing too.
Yeah.
So as I've continued to do this, more um, enthusiastically over the last 3 years, I hope I'm getting better and better at it. I think I'm getting better and better at it. So we'll see what goes around this time. But I try to do as many things I can for free. If somebody says, hey, whatever, like you said, followers, whatever, just there's so many people, like for instance, like when you send out a list and you've got 6 or 8 different performers on it, or there's, you know, like when some of the stations, instead of sending out individual tweets, tagged one artist at a time, might batch them together and say, coming up in the next hour is this band, this band, this band, this band. After a while, you'll see, I'll look and here's somebody from there following. So I follow them back, right? So then we start to kind of follow each other. And I know there's a whole bunch of people that will say, well, you shouldn't just follow other musicians. You're not building your base and whatever. But to me, if somebody on a list of other musicians going to follow me, I'm going to show them respect and follow them back. I mean, unless when I look at them or listen to the music, they got something that's kind of rubbed the wrong way or whatever, like might be, super duper violent or whatever.
Yeah, misogynistic or anything like that. Yeah, for sure.
But I tell you, I actually had an online conversation with somebody, and I said, if you just take the time and you just keep your eyes open, and then you just start to build relationships with people. And I said, I know people want to be on Instagram and TikTok and all of this other kind of stuff. There's like so many social medias, and I think just a lot of them are just a waste of your time.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get on Instagram until maybe like 6 weeks ago, and I'm still debating whether or not it's got any value. But
I don't use it very much either myself.
Yeah, but I figured I would just give it a shot. But to me, Twitter was like the gold mine of a place where you could easily identify like-minded people and outlets, meaning the internet world of independent radio stations all over the place. And you could easily build relationships. Everybody was open to build relationships. You found out quickly who the pay-to-play people were, and you found out who the people who were the, hey, we like your song, we're going to play it. And then you'll see, some people don't always tag you, but a lot of people have the automated system, and it just kicks the
I wish I had that.
The tags out right away. And I know it costs them money. I mean, they're not, they're, in the same way that we're indie musicians, they're indie radio stations. So in the same way that we're kind of paying our own way through our equipment and this thing and our time and money and, that we put into our little home studios and whatever, they're doing the same thing with their little home radio station, because they got to pay, for a web hosting thing and whatever. And some of them have to, pay licensing things and whatever. So
exactly.
Yeah. But a lot of them are doing it just because they love doing it, and that's the best reason for doing stuff, is because you just love doing it.
Well, that's just it. That's what I think, dude. I'm with you. I can't stand those fucking pay to play guys. Like you're just saying, everyone as a musician puts so much time and money into building up their repertoire so they can even do what the fuck they want to do. Like you said, you pay 10 grand in studio fees, okay, and then someone has the nerve to say, yeah, you pay me this, I'll put you on this place. It's like, are you fucking serious? Like, I just paid out the
Yeah.
ass for this music to even exist. You know, I talked to one guy that was telling me he got asked to do an interview, or he was asking me if I'd interview him. I said, yeah, for sure. And he said, okay, well, I said a question, what does it cost? And I said, well, what the fuck are you talking about? Is there somebody saying that I'm charging or what? And he's
Yeah.
like, no, 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 no. I just did an interview and they said, okay, great. Now we'll release it when you give us this X amount of dollars. After they did the interview, I was like, nah, that's bullshit. That's total bullshit. Taking advantage of people like that.
Yeah. But some people are willing to do it. You know, they'll, you know, there's one I just recently saw on, for the life of me, I can't remember what the name of the organization is. It's some acronym thing of, like 4 letters. And it seems like around December of every year, you get an email
Mm-hmm.
because they get you off social media or whatever. And then you get this email that says, we're doing our program, blah, blah, blah. So for $300 a year, we'll do, and here's the little menu. And I'm thinking like, nah, I'm not doing that. $300 a year. That's a lot of money. Or you get them through, I'll get them through my website, because my website is, hosted by Reverb Nation, which, I know a lot of people love it and a lot of people hate it. I love it because it was an easy way to put up a professional website at, for $6 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
It is, for them to, and I can customize it and put pictures up and I load my songs up and I put blah. It just is, to me, it's a nice, inexpensive tool.
Yep.
But people will contact you through that, and that's how you get a lot of these things, about, oh, we'll do this for you, we'll do that for you, and all this stuff, and you just can't do it. You just can't do it. But yeah, I mean, that's another great place where I've made a lot of good musical connections with people, because you kind of start looking at what other people are doing, and you can listen to the music, and then you can work with each other on social media because you're doing it because you're all in the same boat.
That's right.
It's like, I'll get a message through Reverb Nation that says, hey, can you here's some of my music. If you like it, can you follow me on Facebook? Can you follow me on Twitter? Can you follow me on whatever? And, if it's the things that I'm already signed up for, of course I'm going to follow them. I'm not going to, deny somebody, who's coming to me just for a follow or click or whatever type thing, and I give them a lot of credit because that's what I do. It takes time to build relationships, and you build relationships. The next thing you've got got some things that you can show for your efforts.
That's right. But I like guys like you that'll actually, when they send a message, you'll introduce yourself, and then you'll send like a link or whatever. Some guys just send links without nothing else. It's like, well,
yeah,
say hi, bro. Like, at least say hi. I've got a ton of people that I have to talk to. I'm going to skip past the ones that are just links. It's like, I'm probably not going to like it. Probably not going to listen to it.
It does seem to be a problem. I do see some stations or whatever that vent from time to time saying, gosh darn it,
probably me.
Just don't. Yeah, just don't send me like a link with no explanation.
Yeah.
Give me a little lead in type thing.
Just
say hi.
even hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
I'd appreciate blah 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 blah. But literally just like a blind Spotify link or SoundCloud link or whatever. Same with my emails. I've had too many fucking people just send me a SoundCloud link. And it's like, I appreciate you're on SoundCloud, but I can't do nothing with it. I need MP3, and I've made it very clear, I thought, numerous times, or Wave or whatever, but I can't do anything with links. Some places can, for sure, but I can't.
Yeah.
And maybe that's my bad, but I can't fucking do nothing with it. If you want me to play you, just send me an MP3.
Yeah, except for playlist curators, as they're called, they obviously just want a Spotify link.
Yeah, they just want the Spotify link,
or an Apple link. But
yeah,
I've had, when I first started getting into this, and and to your point about building a relationship with these different types of
Mm-hmm.
media outlets. Was I've had when I first started getting going, I actually had a couple got back to me and says, "Oh, we like this song, but here's some things that you need to do to it." And it wasn't like, your guitar is too loud and this thing and that thing, but it was like it actually gave me like a little primer on how to professionally set up your MP3s so that the meta tagging was there and all of that kind of stuff. So when you send it
Mm-hmm.
in and then it goes into their rotation,
Yeah, it
then
shows
it
up.
comes up the right way with the artist name and the
Yeah.
title and the visual cover art and whatever.
Yeah.
Somebody was nice enough to take the time for me to do it. And I said, God, that was like awesome. But it was
Yeah.
all because I said, hi, how are you? I've never contacted you before, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we really like this, but we need you to do these 5 things. It's not like they're difficult. We're not pushing back.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, oh, wow, I bet everybody wants that. And turned out, they were kind of like mentoring me, 3 years ago when I first started sending out, because for a long time, for the first, up until Haunted album,
Mm-hmm.
I was just doing singles.
Yeah.
So about except for one period where I had a gap of about a year because I just had a lot of stuff going on, and I kind of got stuck on this one song called "I'm Going Home."
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got like I got this mental block, so I set it aside for a while. I said I got to like kind of set, and then my mind will kind of get in the thing. So, but I was doing like about every couple of months or so. Sometimes less time in between them, sometimes a little bit longer. And then when I got to this, and I had these 6 songs, then I just said, you know what? I should do an album. I've never done like an album by myself. So I said, I'll just, so I started in May of
Mm-hmm.
2020. And then I got all the recording part done by about third week of August. And then I spent
Nice.
the next 6 weeks, mixing and mastering and listening to it on, 10 different things. It's funny because my little studio thing is in the 3rd floor of my house.
Mm-hmm.
So I can listen to it on the studio piece, but then I go downstairs and I listen to it on a crappy boombox. Then I would go sit in the car and I would listen to it. And then I would go and listen to it on something else. Yeah, and I would listen to my phone. Then I would listen to my phone playing through my car through the Bluetooth. So, and then I found out they have these, um, applications you can buy, that cost anywhere from $100 up, that you can put into your DAW that will allow you to simulate all different kinds of speakers, like good speakers, crappy speakers, earbuds, this thing, that thing. But I just said, as long as, just as long as I do it on probably, anywhere from a half a dozen to 10 different things, earbuds, good earbuds, crappy earbuds, car speakers, whatever. And I kind of got that idea from, I remember long, long time before I even got involved in music. Remember the band The Cars?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who was kind of like the lead honcho, Rick Ocasek, who became like a producer of a lot of
Mm-hmm.
other famous, musicians who all escape me. But
Mm-hmm.
I remember reading an article a long time ago before like I even thought I might do this, who said, when we mix our album, we listen to it on a bunch of different stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like car speakers and this thing and that thing. And I said, here, like years and years and years later, it kind of stuck in my head. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
oh, what a great idea. So, you can kind of figure out, because people are going to, I guess maybe back in when it was just vinyl, before there was CDs and before there was
Cassettes and digital.
cassettes and
Yeah.
iPods and whatever, all you had to do was get like a really good pressing of your album,
You're good to go.
or your single. Doesn't have to be an album.
Yeah.
And you're good to go. Now, granted, people probably played it on some little crummy, phonograph, and some people had, the more high quality
The
stuff.
hi-fi system. Yeah.
But the amount of stuff that you have to make sure that your work sounds good on is just so expanded anymore.
And I think honestly, like I did an album with a buddy, and we did it. We just mixed it in his car, and we did a lot of recording in the fucking car too, But mixing it in the car seemed better for us than mixing it in the stereo, because like newer cars have good sound systems in them.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think if it sounds pretty freaking, at least for the mixing, we didn't master, we sent it to a guy to master because that's beyond our fucking,
right.
but we had the mix pretty fucking solid just on the car speakers. And then
Yeah,
that translates to whatever, like, and then, that was another thing that we were talking about, is like, well, he's an older guy, so he wanted to press all the CDs and do the whole thing and this and that. And I'm like, well, Ron, where's your CD player in your house? He's like, well, I don't have one. I said, well, then what the fuck? Like, why are we going to bother wasting CDs?
Yeah.
It's like 9 times out of 10, people are going to just fucking put it on their shuffle on their phone or whatever. They don't even put headphones in. They just listen to their fucking shitty little phone speakers. They're walking around or whatever. It doesn't got to be super crazy. It's a whole new world, bud.
Well, anymore you buy a car, it doesn't even have a CD player.
Well, exactly.
Anymore,
That's just it. Yeah, for sure. Like, what the fuck?
you know.
You
No.
pay the
I mean,
$20, get
I've
it online on all your digital things, and that's it. If you want a CD, they're paying $10 for it, and that's it.
But listening to a mix in the car,
Mhm.
I'll sit in the driver's seat, then I'll sit in the
Back
passenger
seat.
seat, then I'll sit in the back seat on one side, the back seat, the other side, and just say, okay. And then I'll kind of sit in the middle and get all four,
Get it all.
all just coming at me from different directions, and that's a really good kind of like benchmark of figuring out if you're heading in the right direction. Then you
That's right.
then you go, listen to it on a crappy little boom box and whatever, and that's a way to go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The life of a DIY musician, eh? Love it.
Yeah, but when you read these guys who are doing this for a living, these guys that are some of them are affiliated with like Berkeley School of Music or whatever in Massachusetts, and they talk about having different, like if you go to a yard sale and you see like a cheap pair of crummy speakers, like you should probably buy them, because if you're serious about doing this, like play your music through even like crappy cheap speakers, because
Yeah, it sounds.
if it sounds good on crappy cheap beat the crap speakers, then it's going to sound good on everything. So
That's right.
even some of these professional kind of guys who have pretty impressive resumes are saying, hey, that's what you should do.
That's and that's actually really good advice for people just starting out, or that maybe aren't quite there recording their own shit yet, or they're at that stage, or how they can fine tune the mix and everything like that. You're absolutely right. If you get a pair of shitty speakers or have the different avenues that you can listen to your stuff on, it's going to make all the difference. That's the step. But I recommend the fucking car mix. That's the shit.
Oh no, car mix is the car mix is a big one with me. Like I said, I sit in my SUV. I sit like I go in the four seats, because you sit on the passenger side, you're picking up more stuff coming in your in your right ear, and you get on the other side, and then
the different treble settings on your fucking all the simulated surround and blah blah blah.
And then my final one is get in the back seat, and then just get as far forward as I can in the center back seat, and then squish forward and kind of put my arms up on the back, because then I'm getting the biggest field of noise coming at me from all different directions. And I've actually picked up some things that now my wife says, "Oh, I don't hear that," but I hear it, and then it bugs me. So then I, because I can hear it in the car. So, but I think, but this is all, to me, it's, if you have the time to do it, or if you just take the time, and it's not like you have to spend 24/7 on it, but spending a couple hours a day. And the good news is like I said, you go on some of these sites that these professional um, mixer masters, or even like the DAW that I use is Persona Studio One Professional. They have like a wealth of video from their technical people that just tell you all kinds of tips and tricks and different things. And there's just so much great information anymore that allows people to do this. If you just sit down and spend 20 minutes looking at somebody's video with your paper and pen and taking the notes down, and then you bookmark it, because you're going to go back to it anyways at some point.
That's right.
Like 6 months later, you might have to. But
Yep.
I mean, that's why this is fun to me. It's like
Mhm.
I'm not an expert, but just go and learn more stuff.
Yeah. Never underestimate the power of YouTube either. You find fucking anything on YouTube these days.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
Anything.
Personas, the company Personas, all of their stuff is on YouTube. Like
Yeah.
they have a couple of guys that I love that and the split screen, and they've got the DAW all there, and they're like, you do this and you do this and you do this and you do this, and man, you just make it simple because for you to just this. Because what I tried to do when I first started using a DAW 7 years ago, I sat there with the manual,
Mm-hmm.
this thick of manual, right? And I'm going like, oh my goodness, like, and then you go through it, and then you try to read it, and you're trying to click on the screen, and you're trying to do all of this stuff, but it never kind of sinks into your head until
Yeah.
you have somebody else kind of sit there and kind of spoon feed it to you through YouTube or or through their support part of their website. But most of them just port it out to YouTube to
Yeah.
make it easy for people.
Yeah.
But that there's just so much good stuff that people can take advantage of in this whole process and start to do their own stuff instead of paying somebody 10 grand to do it for them.
Yep. 100%.
But again, I guess if you got the money and that's what you want, then you just go do it. So
yeah, that's it. You can be frugal and do it yourself, or if you got the cash. I don't have that fucking cash, but if you do got the cash, good for you. You can do whatever you want with it. 100%.
And so, I mean, that's what I'll be doing over the next, to do 6 songs, it took me roughly 3.5 months, but there was a couple of those songs I had been playing for a while. So it was kind of a little more straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas all of the songs that I'm intending, I should say, to put on this album, like most of them I just wrote at the end of, like between October and December of last year. So I got to work on them a little bit more, and get the phrasing right and so forth before I start spending time. But the good news is doing it myself. If I make mistakes, it's not a big deal. I'm not going to get some recording engineer all pissed off at me because I do, 5 takes of a vocal or whatever.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want till you get it the way you want it to be.
Yeah. So that's what I'll be doing for the rest of this year.
Nice.
And hopefully, somewhere around, the fall, October-ish or whatever, and that'll give me a nice breathing space between Haunted
Releases,
and this next.
It's a good album, man.
so
Haunted's a good album for sure. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, it was fun doing it. Except for that 1 week, right between the mixing and the mastering, where my computer decided. And this computer is not that old. This computer at the time was only a year old. So it's only like a year and a half old now. But right between the mixing and mastering, my computer decided it didn't want to be a computer anymore.
Oh, no.
So I am freaking out thinking that all of this work I did is going to be messed up, because things get corrupt and all this other kind of stuff, and you got it backed up, but, and then I can't get the computer working to figure out if I can get the stuff off the hard drive backup and this thing. So my computer had to sit at the local Best Buy for about 4 days until they got everything going again. And it was just some weird contention thing of something that I tried to download that just, it just butted up into something else. And I got the blue screen to death. But once I got that done, they got that all straightened out and stuff. And then I got the backup going again and everything else. Then it was back up and running. But I'm even more diligent with the backing up stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like, but yeah, that was the only big major hitch that I had. So, but this time I'm not so much of a hurry. So, and with the nicer weather coming and stuff, then it's a little bit easier to get stuff done. You don't have to be worrying about getting a cold or whatever. So
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Well, tell us, takes the last minute here, man. Tell us where we can find your music, if you got any merch, where we can buy it, that sort of thing.
all right, my album Haunted is available. It's on my website, which is reverbnation.com/Keith Shaw and the number one. Because the reason I had to pick that one is because I found out other people have the same name. So unfortunately, I had to do that. So that's one place you can get it. You can download it from there. And it's usually, like 99 cents or whatever per track. It's also on Bandcamp. It's on the whole Haunted album is on Bandcamp. And that, just look for Keith Shaw. And part of what I did is I left the space out between my first and last name. That's why my name is the way that it is, because of other people that have the same name.
I was gonna say, because I was looking for you and I was like, "Oh, where the hell is this guy?" I may took the space. Oh yeah, there he is.
Yeah. So, but hey, if I didn't do that, whenever I like when I did Haunted, and then I send everything to CD Baby for them to do their magic on distributing this out to all the stream places, Spotify and this place and Apple and whatever. If I didn't do that, then my music I wouldn't be able to get to my music, because there's somebody with my name who does rap. There's another guy that's in the UK that he's a country guy. And sometimes I get messages from like a country flavored, indie radio station that says, "Hey, do you have any new music?" And I'm going, "Well, do you want me or do you want the guy?"
The other Keith Shaw. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I had to do that, because I wasn't going to go and, come up with a stage name or something, or, some kind of craziness. So the first place to get the music is reverbnation.com/Keith Shaw, the number one. Bandcamp with Keith Shaw all butted together. So, and then it's on SoundCloud. It's under Keith-Shaw-Music's on there. Then Spotify, Apple, all of those places. And, your music winds up automatically on YouTube with just, your cover artwork and stuff anymore. But the places where you can actually download it are the best places to me are Reverb Nation and Bandcamp, because then you gotta actually get a good quality recording there, because you're uploading them as WAV files, so you get the highest possible quality when you're uploading your content. And then, when it streams back down again, you're getting the best possible content. So,
yeah. That's great. Yeah, I recommend people go check it out for sure. It's a good album. I enjoyed it.
Thanks. I appreciate that. It's always good to hear. It's got to take the good with the bad and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm just turning around because
I see your kitty.
I see a shadow on my wall that, he's up there. I hope he doesn't. Yeah, he likes to run. There's 3 or 4 amps that are sitting on that back wall there. And lately his thing is when I'm doing stuff, doing, because online open mics are real big. So I have a group of people that I've known for years where we do just a local thing. And then I belong to the Philadelphia Folk Song Society and the Philadelphia Association of Songwriters. And we do a monthly thing. And for whatever reason lately, he likes to run. So I'll be singing and all of a sudden he'll be dancing along towards the back wall there. So anyways.
That's hilarious. That's funny.
But usually he's nice and quiet. When I'm playing, he just lays by my feet. So I just have to make sure I don't step around, because I like to move. I like to move around a little bit. But once in a while he gets bratty, and he'll start chewing on my foot. Because when you play at home, you're doing live stream. I mean, you don't have to wear shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
You might not even have to wear pants, depending on where your webcam.
As the top half.
as long as you got something from the waist up, you're in good shape.
Exactly. Exactly, man. That's funny. That was nice to talk to you, dude. Keep me in the loop with what goes on let me know about the new album when you're ready to go. I'll still be around. Shoot me a DM.
Yeah.
Have you back.
Yep. I sure will. I keep a nice long list of everybody of, you know, who I've sent stuff to in the past. And like I said, you know, sometimes they play it and sometimes they don't, but I'll hit them up later on when I have new content. And, you know, and unfortunately, sometimes you send stuff out and you get the thing that bounces back because, you know, unfortunately they're not around anymore. But
yeah, that happens a lot too.
But like I said, there's, you know, a ton of places you can go if you want to, you know, get heard. And that's, you know, just got to take the time to do it. I encourage everybody to take the time to do it.
That's right. There are people that will help you. You just got to find them.
Just like you. Look how you and I got together.
There you go.
You put a thing up that says, "Hey, you know, anybody want to do this?" And I said, "Hey, I'll take the bait." You know,
sucker.
And here we are. And here we are on a cold and snowy Monday night. You know,
love it.
So
it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is.
No, brother. Well, you have a good night. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep, you too.
Stay in touch.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime.
Thanks very much. All right. Have
Pleasure,
a great
man.
night.
Yeah,
All
you
right,
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.